Welcome to the zone. You're listening to Acoustic. It's Thursday at Studio 51 on WNHH FM, and you're hearing the wonderful Jonathan Mooore live in 5 dimensions. I'm Paul Bass. Welcome to the show. Jonathan is the first person to come second on the show. I love his music so much and love to hear what he's been up to since he was here last year and to hear what he's been writing and what he's been doing. Jonathan, welcome back to Studio 51.
Hey. We're back.
We're back, and it's working.
Yes, it's working this time.
The loop, because last year we didn't have the loops working. Loop is essential to your playing. Jonathan grew up in New Haven.
Yes.
Started playing cello at an early age. Came from a musical family. And just fell in love with the cello, and he's making a career of it, folks. It's not just Connecticut that gets to hear Jonathan. Florida, New York, all sorts of stuff. We'll get into that later. Yep. What I want to talk to you first about, Jonathan, was the loops. It's essential to what you play. Mm-hmm. You're kind of a one-man orchestra.
I am.
So tell me how early on you decided to do cello with loops and how you developed that as your way of playing.
It was about my junior year of high school.
Where was that?
Cooperative Arts. Co-op, man. That's the home. Shout out to Mr. Norman. Shout out to my guys, homegirls over there that I graduated with in the string class. So junior year, I started to get more into the loop pedals. Yeah, my junior year.
Had you heard other people with cello using loops, or was it more a guitar thing? Or
I've seen other musicians use it, but never cello.
What gave you the idea of applying it to cello?
To be honest, my teacher, Mr. Newman, he brought it in. He was like, "You guys want to mess with this?" I was like, "All right, cool." But I really dug like deep into that tool, that loop pedal. Even though I was messing with, distortion pedals at the time and chorus pedals, because my father, since he's a bass player, he had this chorus pedal by Boss, and he had it since I was a kid, and it still works to this day. So shout out to Boss.
So from that day, was that a core part of your cello? Were you ever more into ensemble playing? I'm sure you played, I'm guessing, a co-op and ensembles.
Yeah.
You don't play mostly ensembles, correct?
No, I don't play ensembles now, but back then, yes, it was a criteria.
Was there a point at which you said, "I got the loops, I got my full sound I have in my head, this is what I'm about"?
Yes, it was junior year.
That same year?
Yep, where I really mastered the loop station, and I had an idea of creating this song called Journey along with Lewis, my friend Lewis, and Gabe, and their cellists as well.
Oh, really? You have two friends with cellos who did it with you?
Yeah, yep. And they used to call us the Three Cellos.
What are they doing now?
Lewis is a rapper now. He's an overall artist, man. He's really phenomenal. And even though people may think they don't follow him, yeah, there's a lot of eyes on him. And Gabe, he's just an out and about dude. I see him once in a while during the summer times. Not sure exactly what he's doing in this moment. But
you're the one who stuck with cello.
Huh?
But the three of you were doing cello, you stuck with it. But the three of you did Journey together with loops?
Yes.
So you had three cellos playing, which with loops would make it about 17 dimensions.
Pretty much.
And tell me about that. How did that hit? How did you put that together with two friends, and what did that tell you about using a loop station for cello?
To be honest, it was a real life collective. It wasn't just my idea, but mostly the ideas of Gabe and Lewis along with myself too. And I just incorporate that loop station for the extra razzle dazzle. So it's pretty much a real life collective song.
Did you just play that? Is that what you're playing?
No, this is something completely new.
Okay.
I'm actually playing some new songs, like exclusive.
That's today. Oh, that's good. I was
Yeah.
hoping that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the loop, now just so our listeners know, with a loop, you start playing, let's say, some chords or a line on a certain string, a melody or a rhythm. And then after you play it, you click with your foot
Yep.
and it keeps playing.
Yep.
And
But-
then you play on top of that as though you're a second musician harmonizing.
Yep.
What's the total number of loops you go with? And that one, it sounded to me like you would maximize at 3, but sometimes you'd have 2. And then when you work, you build at the beginning from 1 up, and it looked like you ended from 3, 2, 1. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is correct. Sometimes it can be up to 6. Sometimes it's 8. Sometimes it's 16. It's just it depends on the song and my creativity, to be honest.
And what was that song called that you just played?
It really doesn't have a title, but
It's a new one you're working on.
yeah, it's really a new one that I'm working on. But I have an idea. Maybe it's called walking, because normally when I walk, I have so many melodies inside of my head, and I don't need earphones to hear music. So it's every day I hear music, even when I'm walking.
How about exercising? I used to hear, I haven't done this like in 50 years, but when I used to jog, I felt that was the time when music would show up because your feet were doing the rhythm track.
Yeah,
And there was that repetition.
Yeah.
And once you got in the groove, doing it at a steady pace,
Mm.
that's when your mind would be freed up to add the melodies. Did anything happen to you with exercise, or is it more just walking?
more so walking, to be honest.
And do you do a lot of walking? Like do you
Yes.
every day? Is
Yes.
this like a practice
It's literally an everyday thing that
to
I
get
do.
to places, or just to clear your head?
Clear my head and just daily walks because it's healthy.
And where do you do it? Like at beach, around the neighborhood?
Yeah, the beach, West Haven, things.
You live in West Haven?
Yep.
So do you go to that long beach walk in West Haven
I sure do.
every day?
Not every day, but most of the times when I do walk, I go towards walk a good mile just down the street. Sometimes a half a mile towards the West Haven Green, maybe. Just local.
Did that one come to you, or is more like they plant in your head some themes, and then when you pick up your cello, they come back?
Some stick, some leave.
Do you have a phone where you can get it, or you can't really do it without the cello there?
Sometimes I do record with the phone.
What do? You sing the melody?
I kind of hum it.
So what happened with this one?
This one, I have no clue. I was just in my room, just messing with my loop. Just something came upon me. I'm just like, okay, let me play this. And there it is. So,
So we're talking to Jonathan Mooore, cellist from, I guess, West Haven now, grew up in New Haven, right?
Mhm.
And do you want to play a second piece first?
sure.
Does this one have a name? And these are all new today. We're getting to hear new ones.
Yeah, pretty much new.
That's
yeah.
cool.
This one is more so of a freestyle, just playing how I feel.
I did want to ask you about this. So the last one, with all pieces, is it accurate to say you have a theme and a rhythm that defines the piece, and that every time you play it, you'll go off and do some improvisation? Is
It
that
varies.
accurate? It
Yep.
varies. Some of them are completely composed.
Yep.
Well,
Wow.
the last one, what was that? Mostly composed, mostly varied.
It's like a mix.
Mhm.
Definitely. A mix.
How about this one now? It
This
says
one is
freestyle.
This one is just free. Just gonna improv just a little bit.
All right.
No rhythm at all, pretty much.
Jonathan Mooore and his loop station. What's the name of the loop station? Is there a brand?
It is the Balls RC 600.
Mhm.
It's the best station in the world.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, here on WNHH FM's Acoustic Thursday. The harmonic told us it was done. Jonathan Mooore doing a freestyle here with his cello on WNHH-FM's Acoustic Thursday at Studio 51. That was beautiful, John. That's another one in the works?
It just came to my. I was just playing.
I noticed you did no loop, and what was the reason? I'm not saying you should always. I'm just curious.
Sometimes I don't really, sometimes I don't depend on the loop for everything.
Well, it was interesting to me, and tell me if this is way overdoing it and stupid.
Go ahead.
I kind of felt like at the beginning you did something you do often. You start in the lower, kind of feeling a mellow pace, and then the sun comes out with the higher strings. But then what I found happening during that piece is you didn't keep going with gliding in the sunlight. You sort of got heavy back down on the lower strings with something very soulful.
Yes. And
switching from like sharp to non-sharp, natural notes that kind of descending down. Does that sound right?
Yes. Actually, yeah.
Jonathan Mooore, we talked about this last year. Sees a lot's happening with your career. You are a full-time cellist.
Yes.
You were able to go to co-op. You went to Southern.
Yep.
Serious study. Started building a career. Last time we were here, you were getting invited to New York to perform in like an event where there was also poetry readings and stuff. You did a residency, if I'm not mistaken, in Florida. Yes. Now you say you're getting a lot of work, especially in New York. What's going on in your career?
Oof, man. Let me tell you. So, I've been working with this dance company called It's Showtime NYC, where my friend and dancer Cal is the director there, and he is phenomenal, and along with the other dancers, and he had this idea called Pyramid, where he's telling a story about the building blocks of everybody's story,
like building the pyramids.
Yes, literally building the pyramids, but in your own individual life, because everybody is literally building a pyramid in some way. They're just trying to build. So we want to pretty much sum it up. We wanted to tell that story through dance and through live music. And he had this idea like, hey, let me hit John up. And so we started to develop that piece maybe about 2 years ago. And over the time we were doing residencies, practicing for like the premiere show at the Guggenheim. And so
the Guggenheim Museum in New York.
Yes. And so we
When
were
was
actually
that?
we were actually there twice. I think it was last year we was there, or like the end of 2023. That was like let's say our draft of Pyramid. We were at the Guggenheim for the first time, but our premiere was literally January
Of
2025.
2025,
Yep.
last month.
Yep, it just happened.
Oh, wow. How'd that go?
It went pretty good.
Was there
Jeez.
extensive workshopping and practice where you would build the music and the dancers would work with you? Was
Yes.
it a symbiotic process? How did it work? Or were you in your own worlds doing something they would react to? They would dance something you would react to?
It was literally everything you just said. We would give and take off each other. They had a story. I had a story. We both core-aligned with each other.
Is there spoken word in it?
Or
Or is it just dance and cello?
It's dance and cello, but there is a certain segment where a story is told through word while I'm playing.
And you're the only musician.
Yep, it's just me.
We talked about this if it came on the air. It's cheaper for someone who's trying to do high quality music rather than hiring an orchestra or a smaller ensemble to get one person who creates the full sound with many parts on his own cello. Is that partly a dynamic in the industry now? Are you getting other gigs because of that?
I am definitely getting gigs First off, because I know how to play this cello.
Damn straight. Damn straight. I wasn't suggesting otherwise. I'm saying in the world when you got to be good enough
Yeah,
to get the gigs.
absolutely.
Is there something that makes more sense, not just financially? Does it kind of make sense even with how you can pivot? If you're working with a dance company, you're going to alter what you do because you're reacting to somebody. Is there a different kind of creative process that makes sense having a one-man orchestra?
It really is a different creative process because you're more, let's say, intimate with that other artist compared to you having like a whole orchestra, and it's like you're trying to work with many people, and so it's pretty much you're more free to do whatever you want as long as there's like the meat and potatoes of what you and that other artist, are trying to achieve. So when I was working with the dancers for It's Showtime, we literally gave our idea of this certain story that, we wanted to pretty much perform.
What was Showtime? Is that the Pyramid?
Well, it's Showtime NYC. Yeah, that was for Pyramid.
Okay. Yeah.
And so throughout that period of time, we started to develop not just a story, but more of a connection between each other.
And does it vary night to night that way?
Say it again.
Does it vary night to night? What you might be doing? Do the pieces at all vary, or is it pretty much note for note, step by step?
It's well, to me, it's a step by step. It's a step by step process.
So you had the premiere. How many was it? One night?
Yes, it was one night.
And how'd it go?
It went pretty darn.
Tell me
good.
about it.
So it was a very busy day. Of course, the tech and everything else. But when it was, when the lights is on and it's showtime, that's when we just showed out. Mistakes in all, it's there was a segment where my loop pedal crashed. It stopped working, but I still went on.
Were you able to fix it for the rest?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, what's going to happen with it now? Anything going to happen with this piece now that you premiered it? You going to perform it anywhere else or record it or?
Gotta wait and see.
That's cool, Jonathan. What? Tell me some other work you're doing.
So
gigs you're playing, recordings.
Okay, so recordings. I ain't trying to say too much, but something is coming up, and it's going to, not to sound cocky, but it's going to literally flip how a cello sounds. Is that misconception? Oh yeah, it's just classical or it's just world music. No, there's another side of this cello that nobody has heard.
What is that?
It's a style you can't really describe it. You just have to know the Mooore family because we have a different sound compared to other people.
And I was remembering some gospel influence, correct?
Yep, gospel, funk, R&B.
So you're doing a kind of gospel, funk, R&B recording?
Just everything.
And is it going to be a solo?
It's just me. It's just.
And when's that coming out?
Can't tell you.
Okay. All right. Would you like to play something you're working on for that, or you want to hold off on that? Tell me whatever you want to play. So you want to play some newer stuff. Up to you. You brought the cello, you brought the loop.
I'll give you a little clip. I'll give you a little something.
Does it have a name?
Nope.
Doesn't need to. Okay,
Nope.
No names today. Okay, we're going to hear our third and final number from Jonathan Mooore. What a treat it's been to have you in the studio, Jonathan.
Thank
I
you
love
so
when you
much.
come in.
I love it here.
All right, so take it away, Jonathan Mooore. The great Jonathan Mooore. I like what you're working on. I hear a lot in that.
You heard a lot in that?
Yeah, I hear a lot. And it wasn't just the funk, and when you're talking, I was listening for the funk, maybe hip hop, but that actually wasn't the main thing I heard. I definitely heard some of that. But I was hearing a lot of older stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Everything, just everything. I have no clue how I created that song either. I'm like, seriously, all I'm doing is in my room, just creating. That's it. Whatever comes to mind. Just.
Well, you're doing great.
Thank you.
And New Haven is proud of the hometown success story of Jonathan Mooore, from co-op to the Guggenheim and beyond. Good luck with the recording. Will you come back again?
Of course.
You're always welcome here, Jonathan Mooore. Cellist Supreme thanks to Harry Droz for working the controls. And thanks for listening to Acoustic Thursday at Studio 51 on WNHH FM. We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience, performing I Wish I Knew How It Feel to Be Free, from the group CD A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night long at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.